broadcast to start. Here we go. Hi,
Hello.
everybody. Hi there.
Uh,
Welcome to the Verbling class. I'm Jad. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm Jad. Where are
Great.
you from?
I'm from Israel.
Israel. Okay,
Uh,
welcome. And Mo,
Thank
remind me where you're from.
I'm from Turkey.
From Turkey. Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome. I think I saw that you guys were in the last class. So you guys have been talking about business interviews, job interviews. Whoops.
Yeah,
Samay. Samay, you can turn off your uh-oh. We're having the video playing. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Samay, how are you?
I'm from Israel.
Where are you from? Samay?
What?
Mr. Yeah, Mr. Sana, if you close the Verbling class.
I think I can't hear good.
Okay, if you have the Verbling window open, you can close the Verbling window now and just leave the Google Hangouts window open. That's what's playing in the background is the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, ma'am, I muted you because I can hear the background noise in the recording. So go ahead and just close the Verbling window, leave the Google Hangouts window open, and then that way we won't have that video recording playing back what's happened already. Okay, well, welcome everybody. There were a few other people who had reservations. Maybe they will show up, and we will see. Otherwise, we can get started. First of all, we can just start a little bit by saying, Mo, how have you been doing this week?
I'm good, fine, thank you. Everything's fine.
Everything's
Doing
good?
well. I was doing well.
Uh-huh, good. Mo, what do you do for a job?
I'm computer engineer.
Computer engineer. Okay, wonderful. And Amjad, how has your week been?
It was a great, full of exams.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and great week.
Yeah?
Uh,
What are you studying?
I'm studying medicine.
Oh, okay. What
Yeah,
year are you in?
the fifth year.
Oh, so you'll be
Yeah.
finished soon? Or how
Yes,
many?
next year. It's this 6 years. Like I'm the fifth year out of 6 year.
Mm-hmm. So one
Yeah,
more year, and then
yeah,
you'll be able to be a doctor in
yeah.
Israel? Mm-hmm.
Yes, I hope so.
What type of doctor do you want to be?
I didn't decide yet, but
Okay.
I think maybe internalist.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I like the specialty of internal medicine.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wonderful. All right, Mohammed, how are you doing?
I'm
You talk
fine.
to me?
Well, I'm talking to Mohammed right now, who just joined us. Mohammed, where are you from?
From Egypt.
Okay, welcome. And Sameh, I was now.
Okay, I
There you
listen. I
are.
listen well. Okay.
Hi. How have you been doing this week? How was your week?
It feels good. You mean a week?
Yeah, this past week, like usually, where I'm from Washington. I live in Washington State in the United States, and for me right now, it's Friday evening. It's 6 o'clock in the evening for me on Friday. So in the United States, on Friday, it's the end of the work week for many people and also for school. And so typically on a Friday, somebody will ask you, how have you been? How was your week? Anything new? What are you going to do in the weekend? That type of thing. So I'm just starting off with an informal conversation before we get started more formally with the class. So I'm just asking everybody how their week has been. So how has your week been, Same?
Okay, it was a good week for business. I have a lot of business online. I make some new deal with new customers.
Nice.
Okay, and I am e-marketing. Uh,
Uh-huh.
uh,
Nice.
it, that's all. I can't speak anymore. My English language is not okay, as you see.
Okay. Same, where are you from?
Egypt.
Egypt. Okay, so we have two from Egypt. And Nihan just joined us. Hi, Nihan.
Hi, Lisa.
And how has your week been?
It's been a little bit busy,
Yeah.
but
Busy with work or busy with friends or just doing stuff?
actually everything because some of my friends just visited me from the outside the city, and the work was also a little bit busy. We were with some new clients, but I survive.
Here you are again.
Yeah.
So Nihan, remind me, in Turkey is the weekend Saturday and Sunday or Friday and Saturday?
No, Friday. The weekdays includes the Fridays, but some private companies also works at Saturdays,
Okay.
but not me.
Not you. So you have
Yeah.
your days off are Saturday and Sunday?
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Nihan, you are from Turkey?
Yep.
Where in Turkey?
I'm from Izmir. I live in Izmir.
I live in Antakya.
Right now?
Yeah.
Mm.
Is that close? Yeah.
Not really close.
No,
Antakya is a south part of Turkey, near the east, but Izmir is the west part of Turkey. I've never visited Antakya, but I had some friends in university which was from Antakya. Their dishes are really, really beautiful. I think in the world, their specific and traditional meals are really famous.
Nice.
Look, Antakya, teacher, Antakya is very famous, very, very famous city.
Yeah.
From ancient culture. You know? You did not hear about Antakya?
No, how do you spell it? I'm gonna look it up. Hold on, let me see.
Lisa, in addition to this, in Antakya there are lots of different religions. There are lots of different cultures. That's because their culture is really rich.
Oh.
Really variety, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because when the cross war, they came to Antakya because Antakya it was very important for Rome as a city, and maybe it's very like a blessed city, yeah. For
Are you from Antakya Mo, or you just visited there? Are you Turkish?
No, I'm not Turkish.
I see.
Where are you from, Mo?
I'm Syrian.
Oh. So it's near Syria. Well, it
Yeah,
says here on Wikipedia that it's Antioch in English has historical significance for Christianity. So, as it was the place where the followers of Jesus Christ were called Christians for the first time. Okay.
yeah, for that I'm telling you it was very important.
Yeah. Okay.
small city, but it refers to lots of different cultures and religions, and it was in the history was a really significant facts about history.
Uh-huh.
And you know, when there was Rome, it was the two parts, eastern part and western part, Byzanta and Roma. You know,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
the eastern part was the capital. Eastern part was before Turkey. Yeah,
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
it was from the main important city for eastern Rome. It was Antakya.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Skanderun and Antakya.
Iskander. Yeah.
If you want to visit Turkey, you have to visit Antakya and that parts, not the west parts, because the west parts is really boring seaside.
No, but
Yeah,
really, you have to visit Istanbul. Very beautiful city. Very
Yeah.
beautiful city.
Istanbul
Istanbul.
is, I think, the most beautiful city in the world. No
Yeah.
offense.
No, not like this. But
No
very
worries.
beautiful city. Very
Nice.
modern city. Very developed city.
Uh-huh. Wow. Yeah. It's big.
Enough for Turkey.
Okay. Thank you for that about Turkey. I don't know. Hi, Yuki just joined us too. Hi, Yuki.
Hello.
Welcome.
Nice to
Okay.
see you.
How has your week been, Yuki? Did you have a good week?
Not good. I have a cold.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I feel sluggish,
Uh-huh.
and
Feels
my
like-
nose won't stop running. Even
Yeah,
now,
you have a runny nose.
constantly.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Is it getting really cold in Moscow?
Yes, it is because Moscow became cold rapidly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. And Mohammed, I didn't hear how your week was. How was your week?
Windows normal,
Mohammed?
nothing new.
Nothing new?
Yes, yes.
Do you study or do you work?
No, I don't work.
You don't work. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so today this is a conversation class, and Mo, I hear some kind of speaker noise from you, so I'm just gonna mute you. So I thought I would try something a little different today. Usually we just pick a topic, like last week we were talking about the origin of our names and what they mean, and that was really fun. And Nihon had the homework of finding a new name in English, but
Oh my gosh.
she keeps forgetting to do that.
No. If I have to change my name,
Yeah.
I think because I use that nickname for 10 years on internet, I could change it to Maria Callas, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Maria what?
Maria Callas.
Maria Callas. Okay.
Yeah, if you find some time to read her story,
Yeah.
I think you have to Google it because it was a really tragic and sad story. Yeah,
Where is she
she
from?
was from Italian,
Oh, okay.
but died in America,
Mhm.
and I think her voice is the most beautiful voice
Oh.
in women. Yeah, she was really a great diva.
Oh, okay. An Italian diva. Okay, here she is. Yeah. She has a. When was she alive?
She died 1977 when I was born.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So his story. Okay, here she is. All right. Well, okay. Well, that's what you want your nickname to be, or just
Maybe I could change it. No, I could change it to Maria Callas. No, Maria Callas.
But she is opera singer, yeah.
Was
Yeah.
she an opera singer? Yeah.
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 But
All
I
right.
don't like opera.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
He
I
doesn't
don't,
like opera that much.
no, I don't like this style of thinking. I like thinking, but maybe I don't
Yeah.
like it that much.
Okay, so what I thought we would do is, like I said, something a little different, and that is basically talking about current events. So that's something oftentimes when people get together, something you might talk about is what you saw on the news or what you're reading about online or something like that. So what I thought I would do is just go to Yahoo, which is one news site. It's not necessarily uh, what it does is it calls well, let's call it collecting. They collect or they aggregate, which is another word for collect. I think I spelled it wrong. Aggregate with an E. Can't remember. Anyways, and so they just bring in different articles that are happening in the news from different websites like Reuters and other news agencies. And so I thought I would just look at some of the headlines and see what we could find for something that would help us have a conversation. So so they're all going to be about different topics. So we'll just talk a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes on each topic, and everybody will have a chance to express their opinion. So this one, we're not going to read it, but it was called California Governor Vetoes Tough Gun Control Bills. So let me just tell you, the topic then is gun control. So for example, in the United States and in the various states, you probably have heard of different events that have happened where people have been shot. Well, so we have what we call a gunman comes to some place like a post office or a school or something like that and uses a gun or 2 or 3 guns and shoots a lot of people die, things like that. So some people in the United States believe that it should be very difficult for a person to get a gun. And I'm wondering what it is like in your countries where you guys live and what your opinion is about it. So the first question is, in your country, do you have what we call gun control? Like, is it difficult to get a gun? Is it easy to get a gun? What's it like? So let's start over here with Amjad. Do you know anything about gun control in Israel? Is it easy to get a gun or difficult or impossible to get a gun? Legally. I'm talking about legally, not illegally.
Yeah, it's difficult to get a gun
Mm.
because there is many restrictions and many checkings checking out,
Yeah.
like yeah. So for example, if the police has any suspicion that a person has a gun, they can go to his home, okay, and look for any gun inside the home. So and if they find an illegal gun with him, they
Yeah.
may take him to the prison and make some conversations with him.
Yeah.
Also, like in airport, there is a lot of inspections. Okay, that avoid people who's arriving and who's leaving to have any gun.
Yeah.
So
So
To
it's
have or to hold.
to have
to have I think what is
to own a gun
Or to hold a gun.
or to hold a gun. So
Can
let me just make sure I'm understanding what you said, Amjad. Chad, you think that in Israel it is difficult to get to own a gun because they have certain maybe background checks perhaps and things that people have to pass, but it's also difficult to what Mo's saying is to carry a gun maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it to carry a gun when you're actually have a gun on your body somewhere, and so
Yeah.
usually you can't necessarily just walk around with a gun in public, you know. So yeah. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So let's just do with that question first. If you don't know I don't know a lot about the gun laws, but I do know that it is pretty easy in the United States for people to get a gun. If you go to a sports store or what we call a sporting goods store, you can buy firearms. Of course, sometimes you can just buy guns that are typical for hunting, but also you can buy pistols and different types of things, and it's not that difficult. So some people in the United States would like to make it more difficult. So that's how it is in the United States. Ciao, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. Hi. Can you hear
So,
me okay?
yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you okay. So what's it like in China for owning a gun? Can people own guns in China?
Only for the polices and officials, maybe. For not officials, just polices.
Uh-huh.
The citizens cannot carry the gun and own the gun.
Yeah. What about hunting? Is it allowed for people to go hunting with guns?
It used to be allowed, but recently, no. You
Oh.
cannot have a such kind of gun. How should we call it hunting gun?
A rifle?
Oh,
Usually it's called a rifle. A rifle is the hunting gun. It's big, it's long, and you hold it like this. Yeah. That's the type of gun. So no guns in China.
no guns in China.
Okay. Mo, what about in the area of Turkey where you live, or in Turkey in general? Can people get guns and own guns?
No, where I live, no, it's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But in Syria, you can get a muzzle.
Yeah. Syria, something else is going on in Syria right now, so the guns situation might be different. Yeah. Well, of course. Yes?
I know one of my friend, he came from Syria. He told me, last time I was sitting with my friends, everyone, one of my friends, he came, he said, who wants to buy a Grad missile? I have a Grad missile. You know Grad? Grad.
No. Grad, like that kind? G-R-A-D? Is that how you say it?
Muscle, yeah, Grad muscle. It is the name of muscle, very big muscle.
Yeah. Wow.
Someone.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, huh? Yeah, that's
No,
well,
in Turkey is very, very safe country.
Yeah.
Very, very safe country. Everything is good there. There is no trouble, no problem at all.
That's an image for a Grad missile right there. I was looking it up. So different missiles. Wow, that's a big. It's more than a gun. Yeah. Okay.
Can I have one?
What? Mohammed?
Can I have one of this?
You want one of those missiles? You get it? Do you need a missile in Egypt?
No, I know someone he was selling in $10,000 for each one.
Oh my gosh! Wow. That's called the firearms. Probably illegal, huh? Firearms trade. Yeah. Okay, Mohammed. What about in Egypt? What is it like in Egypt for guns? Can people own guns?
In Egypt, illegal. I kind of weapon illegal. Legal, I can't buy any because he expensive and require some condition.
Okay.
Like you have to own real estate.
Oh,
or
really?
a company.
Uh-huh.
Yes. You have to
So,
be required to have a weapon, a reason.
yeah. So
And I
maybe
think
there's.
a lot of other
Say it again.
required from the government. And I think a lot of other conditions require
Mm-hmm.
to be to be have a weapon.
Yeah.
Weapon.
You need permission.
You
But
need.
illegal we import from Turkey and USA.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
need permission to
Illegal.
hold a gun. They say to hold a gun, yeah?
Yeah. You say carry a gun usually.
What?
Can I say carry a gun or hold a gun?
Carry would be more common. If you said
Carry a gun.
to hold a gun, people would know what you mean. But to hold it, it just means like you have it, you are holding it in your hands. It's just there. But to carry the gun means that you have it maybe like on your hip or something, or in your on your chest somewhere. That's how you're carrying the gun, like the police carry their guns. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So Mohammed, right now with some of the protests and things that go on in Egypt, there are certain people who can legally have guns, but are you saying that it's pretty easy for people to get guns illegally? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Illegally easy. Easy to
Yeah.
have a gun.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Nihan, did you want to add anything to what Mo said about gun laws in Turkey?
Actually, it's prohibit to carry, hold something legally. It's really hard to get a gun, but we all know there are some. How can I say? There are some inflicts about that because it causes like kind of black market.
Yes.
The 70% of the guns are not legally known, but they have guns.
Yeah.
But for a simple plain citizen, no, you cannot buy or get a gun easily. You have to connect with the how can I say, mobs or underground guys, but it's really hard to get one.
Yeah. So then I'm wondering if it's hard to get a gun legally in Turkey. Do you not have very much gun violence then in Turkey? Like we do, we have a lot of gun violence, like people shooting other people. No.
What was the term? I don't know. Second or third page on newspapers. Yeah, some lots of violence events, but they usually use knives or something. Not guns, but yeah, we had some problems with guns. If I say no, it isn't any gun violence in Turkey, I wouldn't be really honest, because some kind of terror or that's kind of, especially in the southeast part, is how can I say, southeast or east south? South is part of the Turkey. Yeah, south is part of the Turkey. Mo, you have to be really quiet.
I just muted you, Mo, because the mic.
What was I saying? Yeah.
Well, you were saying in the southeast.
South is part of the Turkey. Yeah. Every home, every individual has guns, and it's really, yeah. It's
you
really
mean
scary.
Nihan? You mean the Turkish area?
Yep.
In the southeastern part, yeah.
Turkish, no, Kurdish area.
In the Kurdish.
We don't call that Kurdish area, you know. It's still in Turkish.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I was mentioning about the Kurdish people's lives some specific cities.
So, do they have different laws then? Because here in the United States, we have the federal government, and they make laws, but each state can also pass their own laws. So different states have different gun control laws. That's why this article that I was putting up here is talking about California. So the California governor, he's vetoing the laws that would make it tougher or harder or more difficult for people to get guns.
Oh.
But each state, they kind of make their own laws regarding the types of guns that a person can have, the types of bullets that a person can use, how old you have to be, if you have to have any kind of training, if you have to have like a background check to see whether or not you've committed any crimes before, or if you have any mental illnesses or things like that. So
what about Texas?
Yeah, Texas. I don't know. I don't live in Texas. Yes, because especially because in the United States, in the United States, the gun owning a gun is a part of our Constitution, where you can bear the right. It's called the right to bear arms, and part of that is so that the government can be overthrown if the government gets to the point where it's not good for the people. So that is part of the United States history. Of course, the guns that people are using are not necessarily being used to overthrow the government. They're being used to kill people for various reasons in different types of violent crimes or situations. So that's why some people want tougher gun laws. Yeah. Yuki, what about in Moscow, Russia? How can a person own a gun?
Moscow, in Moscow, all gun carrying gun is strict is prohibited. It is prohibited to carry a gun. Also in Moscow, also in Russia, but in Siberia area. People hunters can carry a rifle, but it is needed to have a license.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I feel so I don't feel big I don't feel afraid. I don't feel afraid. Afraid.
So you aren't afraid of gun violence in Moscow. You're not worried about getting shot. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not worried. About getting shot. But I feel more safety when I am in Japan, because completely strictly it is restricted to carry a gun in Japan. You can walk along streets even in the midnight in Tokyo. So it is very easy. Many people think that Japanese samurai has a
sword.
had a weapon.
Yeah, a weapon.
Yes, had a katana. Carried a katana. So it was very dangerous in the middle age in Japan, but it is not true. Even in middle years, in Japan, carrying a weapon is strictly restricted for the ordinary people.
Yeah.
Only samurai could carry a katana. So I always was very I think very strange that why America cannot
why they want to have guns?
why American government cannot restrict the carrying gun. I heard that even children, even there are gun for the children.
Well, maybe
yes,
hunting guns.
Yes, hunting gun, but even little children can carry a gun. Of course, it is not so powerful gun, but some American parents give their children rifle.
Yeah.
And also because in America, the company of that manufacturing this kind of weapons, it has like strong decision with the policy. So they sell the gun because they want to sell the gun. I don't think it is good. No, it's very good, very bad to use or sell the gun at any place. Am I right?
So are you saying, Mo, that the reason why in America you can buy guns is because the gun companies that make them want to make money, and so they want to sell the guns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I read the article about that. It has something with the company that manufacturing this kind of weapon. They want to sell it, so they have strong decision on the policy that it's allowed or not allowed.
They have a strong, you could say they have a strong influence.
They have strong influence.
Influence, yes. They have what we call here, we have what they do. The verb is to lobby. It didn't come up. Did it come up? There it is. To lobby. So yes, in the United States, if you make something like guns, and you have the gun industry or the firearms industry, they have representatives, people who work in the industry, who go to the politicians in Washington, D.C. to influence them, to try to make them, encourage them to make laws that help their industry. So yes, that is true. And it's Republicans and Democrats, Chow, not just the Republicans. But in the United States, yes, there are lots of people who would feel very afraid if they didn't get to have a gun in their house. So some people like to have guns because it makes them feel safer, because maybe they're afraid somebody is going to come and rob them or break into their house and they might have a gun, so they want to be able to use it to protect themselves. And also people in the United States see it as a right because of the way that the United States was created, because people from Europe came over here and the King of England was in charge, and the people had a revolution, and they made a government that they wanted to make the government only so that the government would work for the good of the people. But if it doesn't anymore, overthrow the government.
In Canada, the same situation in America?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
And most of the people in Canada are the same people from America. Yeah, they are immigrants, came from Europe, and these things, they came to Latin. But the law is different. In Canada, it's not allowed, but in America, it's allowed.
Right.
So now we can talk about the influence of the strong influence of this company, like Blackwater and these things, as you know.
Yeah, I agree that the companies who make the guns obviously have an interest in people buying their products, just like people want to buy computers or iPods or something like that. But there is also like a philosophical grounding, and people don't want to have that right taken away from them. So there are a lot of American people who would say that it's a right, like you have a right to own the gun to defend yourself. You don't have a right to kill somebody with your gun. That's just what happens because people get angry, or they are, they're criminals. And like Nihan says, even a criminal might use a knife, there are other ways to inflict harm on people. It's just unfortunate that a gun can do a lot of damage, and of course, some of the guns that are available go way beyond just protecting yourself. Like you were saying, like missiles or something, that's not about protecting yourself or your home or your property. That's some other, kind of weapon.
But reality, constantly many American people has been killed by the guns. Constantly there are petty incidents in America happened constantly recently in the in the beginning of this year. A man, game maniac, intruded into the kindergarten and killed more than 10 children. Such a incident, and Americans know that gun control is the main reason of such a petty incident. And President Obama also promised to control the gun, but I don't understand why Americans cannot do such a thing that many countries could do in the Middle Ages.
Well, okay, I'll tell you, Yuki. In the United States, remember, United States is a lot of people coming from lots of different places, but a lot of people in the United States do not trust the government. They don't trust that the government is going to protect them always.
I understand, but it is the same situation in Russia. Russia is a vast country, and people don't trust government at all.
Yeah,
so,
that's
true. Why only America? And America constantly criticized the other country for their violence of human rights or for their misuse of chemical weapons. But Americans themselves do not control themselves. I don't understand, sorry.
Yes.
The situation.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, Lisa, okay, I thought that I heard before that having weapons in homes caused many accidents, especially with children having guns and shooting each other's.
Yeah.
And this is really something bad. Although we have a culture here in Egypt that people in Upper Egypt and many places like Sinai or the Arabs who live in the Bedouin who lives in the desert have lots of guns, but we don't listen that much of accidents that's caused by guns and weapons.
Yeah.
So do you think that you are doing something about that now in a
yes, I think.
What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm not doing anything. I don't have a gun, but I know what you're talking about.
That's great.
And that is why some people want the governments, like the state governments, to make new laws that to make it more difficult for a person to get a gun. Because if it's so easy to get a gun, then that is one problem. It can be maybe you have a gun, but you don't know how to keep it safe. So of course, there's there's what we call a continuum. So like you start over here and you go over here. And on this end, there's lots of people who are very good at keeping their guns safe. They don't, they keep them locked up. They only use them for hunting maybe, or they only use them for self-protection, or maybe they just like to collect them. Okay, then there's people all the way over on this other side who are buying guns and they're not safe, and maybe they are using them like for gang violence or for criminal usages or to intimidate people. You know, so there's like there's a large range of people, and so that's why it's so controversial, because what's happening over here is these people are giving the gun owners what we call a bad name. So if everybody was a good gun owner, for example, they were very safe, they only used them for self-protection, then we wouldn't have all these problems. But we have this other group of people who they don't know how to care for their guns, they don't know how to keep them safe, they don't know how to keep other people safe around the guns, and that's what the whole controversy is. And so some people just go to the extreme of like, no guns, nobody can own any guns, but that's probably not going to happen in the United States because of our history and because we have a right to bear arms and that whole thing. And so even though there are many people who, like myself, that we don't even want to have a gun, there will always be people who do want to have guns. It's just how can you make sure that those people who do have guns are safe? And that's kind of the tricky part, you know, because people in the United States, we don't like to be told what to do. So we don't necessarily vote for things that make it more difficult, that take away more rights. That's like a way people think. You know, it's not necessarily a right or a wrong way. It's just I'm telling you how people think here. You know.
I think, but if you think deeply, it is clear for you to understand the situation. If you see the other countries' situation, maybe for example Japan, gun is strictly controlled, but so many people didn't killed by the gun. I think it is another reason of allowing gun in America. Maybe National Rifle Association (NRA) has a big influence on the policy of gun use in America. I think it's a problem of business. Yes.
Yes. Money. Yes, for sure.
So I maybe you can say that business is more important than the life. Yeah. Maybe.
Some people make that argument. Yeah, and that
Don't you think that civil war is taking place not in Syria, not in Egypt, but in America?
Maybe in the future.
Americans kill Americans constantly.
Yes.
Mr. Yuki, don't put Syria as example, because Syria it has war.
I'm sorry.
So, no. I mean Syria it has big war like Libya before, and this it has big war. So everything there is no law at all. Before it is prohibited at all to have any gun. But after war, everything is legal. But I mean the main problem, the difference between America and Europe country. There in America, this company that like Blackwater, that petrol company like Shell and this company, it has very strong influence on the government, on the policy. Like George Bush before, he was a manager of in petrol company. So after that, when they decide about the war, about the Gulf War, or about these things, so they have strong influence. This company control economic control and also the policy. Am I right or not?
Yes, you're right. Yes, and Farouk, what did you want to add to the conversation?
I am listening very carefully, my friends actually here, and I think they should imagine that the United States is so vast, so a country that there are a lot of places that not inhabited with people, and the people are living on some areas that all around them, like forests and a lot of in the deserts and a lot of mountains areas.
Yes.
And I think those people should have guns and to protect themselves. government cannot provide them so with so many police or soldiers. It is not like Turkey. It's not like Syria or Japan, and the population per square kilometers is so low actually.
Yes.
And
I want
but
to add something, Lisa. Go ahead, please. Pardon.
Yeah, go ahead and finish, and then Nihan can go.
yeah, and also I don't understand actually the in the cities in people don't shouldn't need any guns to carry any guns, and they have police in the cities, in the towns, and the police should provide all security to the people, I think.
Yeah, and that begs the question, which means that makes you wonder, makes you think, are people carrying guns in the United States only for protection or for something else? Which we see a lot of times it can lead to something else, and that's how the gun violence comes about, especially the gun violence that seems, like Nihan was mentioning, something that happens because, like, one of the shooters gets upset, or they have a mental problem, or they're on some kind of drug that drives them crazy or something. But I just copied this from an article. I Googled how many, something like how many guns are owned by Americans or something like that in Google, and this is one article that came up. So we have the highest amount of firearms per capita per person in the world. So yeah, Nihan, what did you want to say?
I just want to add something. In Turkey, if you live in a rural area and if you feel threatened, there are some laws that you can get a gun legally. But in America, we all know in some states there are lots of rural regions, and everybody wants to feel safe. It's a really relative thing to think about. Yeah, you have to get rid of all firearms. You don't have to get them easily, but it's a really controversial topic, I guess. We cannot judge the Americans why they are carrying gun or something. It's real hard. We have to be in their shoes, in their areas, in their conditions. In Turkey, some countryside, some rural areas, they can get guns easily and legally.
Yeah. Chow, did you want to say something? You've been posting in the chat.
Yes, actually, I'm for the legalization of guns, and I do believe that the cause of crime is not the guns; it is the people. The people who want to kill others, they won't bother to submit a document to the officials and to wait for 3 months or even 1 year to get the gun and then kill the people. They will buy it from the black market. And since you can never eliminate the black market, so that gives a small group of people the privilege. Once they get the privilege, they can be hubris or arrogant to kill people. If you give everyone these guns, the right to carry own the gun, it just put everyone in the equal status, so that no one can dare to break the what I call equilibrium. So I think gun is a self-defense and a way to protect themselves. So I won't blame the crime too much on the guns, but the people.
Yeah, but okay, so that's definitely one argument that people make when they're talking about that. But what do you think about the idea that, okay, do you think it would be, say I'm really upset, and I think I want a gun, I want to shoot somebody, or I want to, rob a bank or something. If it's very easy, then maybe I would just go do it. But what if it is more difficult? Are you saying that it's always easy, even if it's legal or not legal?
You mean?
Yeah, Chow.
how easy can people get a gun or something?
Yeah, so like right now, for example, it seems pretty easy to get one legally. If it was illegal in the United States, I think what you're saying is there will always be a black market. But do you think it will be as easy on the black market? So is that what you're saying? Even if a person has to go to the black market, they're still just going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you say?
I mean, if the government set more barriers to
Yeah.
the people who
Right.
want to get a gun,
Yes.
well, it may diminish the events. I mean, the accidents, because the people feel, oh, it is difficult for me to get a gun. It adds the cost on me to do the crime. But I think it need to be how should I say, to do experiments. I don't mean the experiments, but the different states have a different role.
Yeah.
I think it is still controversial, because also
Yeah.
we need to put it into the real zone, real environment, to see
Right.
how the culture, how the people in this state. And I think that is why the different states in US have the different rules. Some areas they are more free, and the people are more likely to have the gun. They are more violent, and some people are more peaceful. So I think the government can set the different rules on different part. And I think I'm for the people. It is legal in US, but I don't prefer it is legal in China. And I think the prohibitions on the gun in China is great, because the culture, the rules of some customs in China.
So yeah, well that's interesting because in the United States, I think kind of what Farouk was saying, if you ever look at a map of the United States, you can see that on the west coast, like California, is really populated. On the eastern coast, New York and Washington, D.C. are very highly populated. And then the rural areas that are less populated are in the middle. And those people also have a culture more of wanting to own guns and wanting to be safe. Even though there may be a lot of some people in big cities who do have guns, maybe they are affiliated with gangs, for example, or drug dealers, people like that. Most people probably don't have guns in the city. So, yeah, I think what you're saying, Chow, is kind of interesting because it is a cultural thing. Like some people, they wouldn't care at all if they couldn't buy a gun. It just wouldn't be important to them. And then you have the other people that have a different culture of, like what Nihan was saying about fear, and they just feel safer if they own a gun and they think they can protect themselves. And, I don't know if they would still have that need if nobody had a gun, right? Then what do you need to protect yourself from other than the government, which is how it started, with the Constitution and stuff. So, yeah, culturally, I think every culture is different, and even within the same culture, you have different people who are more maybe pacifist, non-violent people, and then you have people who are more about personal individual rights, and just the fact that it's a right, and you just can't take it away from me. Like, even if they don't have a gun.
But why? America constantly criticize other countries' policies. Yeah, in such a case, as a gun control, as you said, you said it's a culture's problem. Yeah, it's a own culture's problem. But among developed countries, I think America is the only country where gun is allowed in such a big scale. It is just amazing that 260 million guns are used in America. It's too big. You have to. I think Americans have to think deeply and think.
Well, I think this goes back to what Mo was saying, because
the problems.
Probably a lot of people would be fine without having guns, but then you have people, like Mo was saying, the businesses, and they have a strong influence. So when it comes time to vote for people, a lot of times the people with the most money win the elections, and the people who have the most money are the people who are being backed by these big businesses who are benefiting from certain regulations and laws. So I think that's one thing I think Mo was trying to point out is how influential these big companies can be, and they really influence the politicians, because remember, it's only at some level that actual Americans have a chance to vote. But then after that, it's the politicians who are voting and making the laws. You know? So at some point, the Americans don't really have a choice. They're just doing what the government says, you know.
I understand it is a big business and NRA has a big power, but all the same, American government have more power.
Yeah.
Than NRA. So why government cannot control?
But who is the government? But you have to understand, Yuki, who is the government? The government is made up of politicians who ran and won elections. How did they win the elections? By having the most money. And how do they have the most money? The businesses provide the funding.
But
so
America
it's not
is a democratic
really
country.
The people. No, no.
Top of the government is President Obama. Why he can't decide the?
Because it's not a dictatorship. It's presidency.
Why he cannot cope with the problems? It's simple. Control the gun.
Yeah, but who controls the government?
Yuki.
So and then
I'm sorry.
Different from Japan to America or Europe.
Yes, I see. But now I live in Russia. Compare with Russia, America is too awful now. Situation in America is too awful. Russia is an awful country, I know, but situation is too awful. I watch every day on CNN news, but every day, it is informed that Americans is killed by the gun almost every week.
Yes, but we're a very large country. So you have to look at the numbers and the statistics and other crime rates around the world. So yeah, it's a very complicated situation. Lots of people, lots of money, lots of things that aren't really how you think they are. So it's very interesting. Yes, but maybe we should talk about that next time. Faruqi, that was a great question. What are the governments for?
I'm sorry, I became hot now.
You're
too hot.
So we wish you are safe.
I'm sorry.
No problem. Yes.
The problem is, I think, here nowadays the federal government cannot provide its budget to itself, actually, and how it's going to provide.
Yes. The money. Yep. That's a big issue. Okay, well, that'll be. Sounds like we could keep talking about this for another hour. But there's another teacher who's teaching a class already, so we went over a little bit. If you would like to go take another class, you can. Also, I have a class on Saturday and Sunday and some more next week. But thank you for coming to class, you guys, and for participating. That was a good conversation.
Thank you so much. Interesting thing to discuss.
Yeah, well, we're not going to solve all the world's problems tonight, but it's good to think about them and see how different people think and how maybe we can come up with something
So
new.
let's lay them to the next, inshallah.
Yeah. Okay. Good night, everybody.
Bye, Lisa.
Bye-bye. Thanks. See you.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
Yeah.
Broadcast to start. Here we go. Hi,
Hello.
everybody. Hi there. Welcome to the Verbling class. I'm Jad. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm Jad. Where are you from?
I'm from Israel.
Israel. Okay, welcome. And Mo, remind me where you're from.
I'm from Turkey.
From Turkey. Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome. I think I saw that you guys were in the last class. So you guys have been talking about business interviews, job interviews. Whoops.
Yeah.
Samay. Samay, you can turn off your uh-oh. We're having the video playing. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Samay, how are you? Where are you from? Samay?
What?
Mr. Sami, if you close the Verbling
I think I can't hear good.
Okay, if you have the Verbling window open, you can close the Verbling window now and just leave the Google Hangouts window open. That's what's playing in the background is the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, I muted you because I can hear the background noise in the recording. So go ahead and just close the Verbling window, leave the Google Hangouts window open, and then that way we won't have that video recording playing back what's happened already. Okay, well, welcome everybody. There were a few other people who had reservations. Maybe they will show up, and we will see. Otherwise, we can get started. First of all, we can just start a little bit by saying, Mo, how have you been doing this week?
I'm good, fine, thank you. Everything's fine.
Everything's
Doing
good?
I was doing well.
Uh-huh, good. Mo, what do you do for a job?
I'm computer engineer.
Computer engineer. Okay, wonderful. And Amjad, how has your week been?
It was great, full of exams.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and great week.
Yeah? What are you studying?
I'm studying medicine.
Oh, okay. What
Yeah.
year are you in?
The 5th year.
Oh, so you'll be finished soon? Or
Yes,
how many?
next year. It's this 6 years. Like I'm the 5th year out of 6th year.
So one
Yeah.
more year, and then you will be. Then
Yeah.
you'll be able to be a doctor in Israel.
Yes, I hope so.
What type of doctor do you want to be?
I didn't decide yet.
It was a good week for business. I have a lot of business online. I make some new deal with new customers.
Nice.
Okay, and I am e-marketing.
Nice.
That's all. I can't speak anymore. My English language is not okay, as you see.
Okay. Sameh, where are you from?
Egypt.
Egypt. Okay, so we have two from Egypt. And Nihan just joined us. Hi, Nihan.
Hi, Lisa.
And how has your week been?
It's been a little bit busy.
Yeah.
But
busy with work or busy with friends or just doing stuff?
Actually, everything, because some of my friends just visited me from the outside the city, and the work was also a little bit busy. We were with some new clients, but I survive.
Here you are again.
Yeah.
So Nihan, remind me, in Turkey, is the weekend Saturday and Sunday or Friday and Saturday?
No, Friday. The weekdays include the Fridays, but some private companies also works at Saturdays.
Okay.
But not me.
Not you. So you have your days.
But I think maybe internalist.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I like the specialty of internalism.
Uh-huh. Okay, wonderful. All right, Mohammed, how are you doing?
I'm
You talk
fine.
to me?
Well, I'm talking to Mohammed right now, who just joined us. Mohammed, where are you from?
From Egypt.
Okay, welcome. And Same, I was now.
Okay, I listen.
There you
I
are.
listen well. Okay.
Hi. How have you been doing this week? How was your week?
It was good. You mean a week?
Yeah, this past week, like usually where I'm from Washington. I live in Washington State in the United States, and for me right now it's Friday evening. It's 6 o'clock in the evening for me on Friday. So in the United States on Friday it's the end of the work week for many people and also for school. And so typically on a Friday somebody will ask you how have you been? How was your week? Anything new? What are you going to do in the weekend? That type of thing. So I'm just starting off with an informal conversation before we get started more formally with the class. So I'm just asking everybody how their week has been. So how has your week been, Seme?
Okay.
Off are Saturday and Sunday?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
All right.
Nihan, you are from Turkey?
Yep,
Where in Turkey?
I'm from Izmir. I live in Izmir.
I live in Antakya.
Right now?
Yeah.
Mm,
Is that close?
yeah.
Yeah.
Not really close.
No,
Antakya is a south part of Turkey, near the east, but Izmir is the west part of Turkey. I've never visited Antakya, but I had some friends in university which was from Antakya. Their dishes are really, really beautiful. I think in the world, their specific and traditional meals are really famous.
Nice.
Look, Antakya, teacher, Antakya is very famous, very, very famous city.
Yeah.
From ancient culture. You know? You did not hear about Antakya?
No, how do you spell it? I'm gonna look it up. Hold on, let me see.
Lisa, in addition to this, in Antakya there are lots of different villages. There are lots of different cultures. That's because their culture is really rich.
Oh.
Very variety, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because when the Cross War, they came to Antakya because Antakya it was very important for Rome.